What's the purpose of this game in London? You know, you had the European soccer here, Lambeau. That was a nice buzz here
Awesome,
around
yeah,
here.
awesome.
Do you think there's purpose to this still
Yeah,
in
for
London?
sure. You know, in talking with those guys, and I mentioned it, I think yesterday or at some point, how special NFL Europe was for those guys when I was still playing. They had it in the '05 offseason. Might have been one of the last years, maybe '06 was the last year, but those guys loved it. And the response from the fans was usually pretty good. Now for the league, when it's all about dollars and cents, they were probably losing a little bit of money. But I think the overall uh, growth of the game in Europe was probably worth it. So to now do some games internationally, there's a game, at least one game I believe, in Mexico. They did some games in Canada. Got obviously Tottenham and Wembley's hosted some games. I think it's great. It's great for our game to branch out. There's a lot of fans worldwide. I've been to Packer bars in different countries. Mentioned that Packer bars all over the country. Our fans travel well, and we're the last team that's played over there. So I think it's great for the NFL. It's great for our international fans too. We got a guy that shows up. He's a German guy. Always has a German flag. You've probably seen him. He comes to 2 or 3 games a year, and there's multiple people like that coming from all around the world to come to Lambeau. So this hopefully makes it a little bit easier for those good folks.
Your doppelganger says he'll be there too.
I don't know who that is. You talking about the English guy
Yeah.
with the long hair?
Yeah.
There's a few out there. I like that comedian though. He's funny.
And what concerns you most about this trip? Your head coach kind of insinuated he's not a big fan of this London trip in the middle of the season, the logistics. What concerns do you have most? Jet lag?
Listen, coaches are creatures of habit even more than players. Anytime there's a minute adjustment to the schedule, it throws them all out of whack. So I wouldn't read too much into that. Listen, we're all excited. I think the reason I said I wanted to go over early is just to experience a little bit of that culture. To be able to get out and see some sights and interact with fans and go to a pub and have a Guinness or whatever the local brew is. That's what we all want to do. Those of us that want to go over early, coaches are so concerned with, the idiosyncrasies of the schedule and stuff. So any minute, change in that's going to throw them off. But I think overall, everybody's super excited to get over there. Obviously, the time we're leaving might put a little stress on the schedule, but that's way down at the bottom of the concerns. We're just excited to get over there, playing at a great stadium. It's for us, it's a dream. I mean, I've been talking about doing this for years since they started this. Couldn't wait to get over there, but knowing that nobody wants to give up a Green Bay Packers home game, so it's exciting to finally get a chance to go over.
Aaron, I know you talked a little bit with Pat about Randall, so I'll try not to be too repetitive in what he asked, but Randall was teasing us the other day that we've tried to put him in a nursing home with kind of how we've described his role on the team. Was there anything you saw this offseason that made you think, okay, he might be a little fresher this year? He said it's the best he's felt in 3 years.
The older we get, the guys that can stick around find little ways to get advantages on the physical side. And I feel like that paired with a little bit more stability as far as his off-season home. There were multiple years where he was in a different spot many times and, selling houses, buying houses, a lot of moving pieces. Kids have gotten a couple years older. And then he's done a couple things with his body to really put himself in a great position to be able to make it the entire season and then feel better. He looks more like himself. He looks like 2016 Randall, I think, and that's why I mentioned on Pat's show. And do feel really strongly he needs more opportunities. He deserves the opportunities. There is still some part of this game that is a meritocracy, and in that sense, I believe, every time he touches the ball, something good has been happening for us, other than his lateral to Elton.
Sorry. Was your post game attire Sunday an ode to Belichick in some way? Cut off?
No, not at all. Actually,
wasn't.
it wasn't. No, but I didn't even think about that. That would have been something that I might do for sure if I'd actually thought about it. But no. Good question, though. I hadn't thought about that.
What do you think? What do you think the atmosphere is going to be like in that stadium? What do you guys think you're walking into?
I didn't see the Saints, Minnesota, but I think that was the same place, right? I know that it seats about 62 and change. They got great sports fans there. Obviously, Tottenham's been a top 5-ish team in the Premier League for a long time right now, and I think we have fans. Obviously in Germany, Italy, France, all across there. I was in Europe this off season in Switzerland, and there were people, excited. I met like local, football team guys and the coach there, they're super juiced, loving the Packers. I was in Hungary and got stopped by a guy on a bachelor party from Croatia who was a huge Packer fan. Then I was in Greece and also got recognized in Greece. So there's Packer fans across Europe. It's going to be fun to go over there. I'm expecting a higher percentage of Packer fans than Giants fans, even though obviously the Giants are on the East Coast. But excited to be over there and feel the environment and those European sports fans.
Aaron, can you break down what you're looking for when you're reading a play? Like one of Packers' Twitter favorite things is they show one of your plays, there's a guy wide open, you don't throw it to him. I assume it's more complicated because maybe I don't know, but like if read 1 is open, he gets the ball regardless of what read 3 is. Can you give us like a tutorial on what you're looking at?
Who was wide open that I missed?
I don't know. I think there's one. Lazard was open.
Well, he ran an adjustment on the route. He was supposed to run an in-breaker, and he decided to run vertical. So sometimes you don't have all the answers there. But when it comes to the play, there's a progression to it. There's different types of plays. There's plays where you pick a side. There's plays where there's a pure progression. There's plays where there's a pure progression with an option on the backside. Based on the coverage, you might start there first and adjust the order of the progression. But yeah, most of the time you're going through progressions. You're playing percentages on where the ball should go. I don't feel like I've missed a ton of wide open guys. Every now and then you might totally miss a guy, or the guy might not even be in the progression. First 2 or 3 might be an option on the backside. The coverage, maybe you thought of a certain way, you might not go back there. But most of the time I feel like, just going through the progression, having an idea, getting a good pre-snap read, getting after snap read, and then adjusting anything you see on the fly.
So if it's a pure progression and number 3 is open, but number 1 is open first, there's no chance, right? Because the ball's
There's always a chance, yeah.
Okay.
You can skip some projection. What's the word? You just said it. Progression. Thank you. You can skip a progression from 1 to 3 for sure, but there's a 1 for a reason. Usually 1 is, on one side, and 3 might be coming from the backside. So just depends on where you start.
Is there any reason why you would skip 1?
Yeah, I skipped a lot of them last year when 17 was out there.
And Giants look like a team that's they're just slugging out wins 3 out of 4 weeks.
Yeah, they won some tight games. They were behind by a good amount to Tennessee and fought hard and came back and made the most of that one. Obviously, they played a tough one against the Bears. So yeah, they're a solid football team. They got a good front on both sides. Wink is a great coach. A lot of different things he's going to throw at you. So you got to be ready for a lot of different coverages, some themes of the week, some pressures. It's a big challenge for us.
Aaron, I know you, Romeo, and Christian are in the process of getting where you want to be. But you did say to Pat yesterday that those two are going to be dudes. I know there'll be 1,000 different factors and decisions you have to make after the season. But having 2 young guys that you're seeing this from now, does that factor into when you think about the future and whether or not you want to kind of reap the benefits of what you're sowing now?
Well, I think there's going to be a lot of benefits to be reaped from those guys. So I'm sure long after I'm gone, those guys are going to have an opportunity to be here and play in the second contracts. But it's about development, really, for them. It's about their mental approach, especially, like I said yesterday, year 1 to 2 can be a big jump, 2 to 3 can be an even bigger jump. So it's just understanding what it means to be a pro and figuring that out. And hopefully, I think every young player should lean on an older guy and get some advice. I think as older guys, we love to share the mistakes that we made with the young guys so they don't repeat those things. And things that worked for us as a young player, things that didn't work, things we'd like to see them do. I think is really important, passed on that knowledge. But look, my decision when it comes down to it will be obviously the physical part, the mental part, seeing where the team is at. You look at the defense, a lot of guys are signed for multiple years now. That seems to be intact for a while. They've got a good core on the offensive line, some young guys. Obviously 2 great backs who are still under contract. There's some moving pieces, but that'll factor in for sure. But seeing the development of those guys, can't help but be a part of the decision.
You've talked about sleep and performance in the past. There's a huge time change, 6 hours between here and London. How do you combat that when you go over there?
Just knock yourself out. Listen, I think from what we've been talking about. You got to stay up as late as you can on Friday, and then hopefully it starts to fall into place. But there's no excuses, and we'll be trying to sleep on the way out, and then go through the process on Friday, and then try and sleep Friday night. Hopefully feel a little bit more rested Saturday, have a normal day-ish, whatever that means, and then we get some sleep on Saturday. But both teams are dealing with the same issues, and we'll be excited to get over there and be excited to get to bed Friday night for sure.
You got a bad jet lag story from off-season travels?
No, not really. I got a couple techniques that I like to use to kind of get on the time schedule, but I'll keep those to myself. Those are competitive advantages, but I've shared them with a few people. But I'm sure we'll be ready to go by the time 2:30 hits. Sunday.
Any give and take, or I don't want to say opinion, but how does it affect you who's playing where on the offensive line?
No, I just want the best five. And the best five that the Steno and Buckus think should be out there, be out there. I think we've had some more consistency. I think Dave's played really well. I think Elton's been improving each week, and just the confidence is starting to come back. I feel like the interior three have been solid. Josh, other than a couple wayward snaps, I thought was really sharp in the game. John's really settled in as a very, very consistent player for us at left guard, and Royce seems to be really settling in a right guard for us. So if there's a time where we feel like there's one of our best five is not out there, then I'm sure they'll make an adjustment.
You mentioned you've dreamed about this trip before. Have you or either your teammates discussed a London leap? Is it possible in that stadium?
I haven't seen how high the walls are, but might need to boost like Hunter did for Mason against the Lions the one time, or the Niners? Which one was it? The Lions? Yeah. Look, they got great fans over there. I'm excited about the interaction. Tom's got all these media requests lined up for me, so I'm sure we'll have some fun with some of those interactions. And really excited to get over there. I know a lot of us are. We're obviously trying to figure out how to get some sleep tomorrow night, but once we're there, we're going to make the most of our time.
This is a dumb question, but can you have a wayward snap when you're under center? Is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking? Okay.
Yeah, so he snapped it on his right cheek a couple times. I get that thing down the middle.
Does that best five on the offensive line, in your mind, involve Yash at right and Elton inside?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think Yash has played so much at left tackle for us. He hasn't really played a whole lot of right. I like the five we got right now.